This is Becky D with Becky D Beauty, and you're watching part 1 of the tutorial on how to create your own custom bubble braids. For this bubble braid in particular, we are going Spurs themed because there is a game tomorrow. If you're watching this later on in the year or at a later time, the Spurs are currently in the NBA Finals. And tomorrow is a very important game, so we can see if we're still in it or if we're not. But these are very beautiful, cool colors for the Spurs. It's their Fiesta colors, and it is a teal, pink, and orange. And right now, I'm simply opening up the packaging. You want to make sure that you do not cut into the hair tinsel so that you don't accidentally make it shorter than you want it to be. These come in a very long length, but it's okay because you just simply trim it to the length of your ponytail. And then the next step we're going to do is we're going to take pieces of the different glitter hair or the hair tinsel, and we're going to start blending it in with the synthetic hair. Now, it's very, very important when you're working with synthetic hair. It has a tendency to tangle up on you, or it can be a little bit difficult to work with. So you just have to be firm in your handling of it. Like, you have to really pinch it hard so that it doesn't get away from you. And also to be careful. It is plastic hair. That is what synthetic hair is. It can cut you if you pull too fast or too hard, like rope burn. So just be careful in that. I just put a rubber band to fasten the hair to the ponytail. And this section I made a little bit bigger than you're supposed to. This is for demonstration purposes only. Normally, and you'll see that as we continue with the tutorial, the strand of hair you're going to take is pretty thin. Again, this is made big. This is a big section that I attached just so that you can see what it looks like being used with the crochet tool. Now, what the crochet tool is for is helping me to conceal the rubber band that we use to attach the hair. Now, you're going to wrap this around. You stick it through the middle of the hair so that it's going through the ponytail. So that it's going through the rubber band, and you wrap it and you pull it. And again, just make sure that you're careful because this hair does have a tendency to tangle up on you if you're not careful with it. So we just attached the first one. Later on in the tutorial, you'll see that I eventually end up cutting that fat section off just so that it looks balanced with the rest of the hairstyle once it's done. But now I'm going in with the orange tinsel, and I'm going to attach it the same way. You loop it through, and we're going to secure it with one of the clear elastics. And we're going to use the same method with the crochet. Yeah, excuse me. We're going to use the same method with the crochet tool, where you're going to stick the tool. I'm waiting till we get to that part. So right now I'm attaching it with the rubber band. And once I've done that, you take your crochet tool, you stick it through the middle of the section, which would go right through the middle of the rubber band. And you're going to want to make sure to do that at an angle. And also make sure whatever surface or whatever area that you're working in, that you have something or some way to put the extra hair you're not working on to the side so that it doesn't get in your way and get tangled up. Also, when you're adding the clear elastic band, you don't want to put them too tight, or else it will snap and your hair will fall off of the ponytail. So you just want to be careful with that. Also, if you put it too tight, you won't be able to stick the crochet tool through the middle. So you want it secure, but not too tight. And again, you take a thin section of hair to wrap around the rubber band. And that's what excuse me, that's what we're using our crochet tool for, is to wrap around that rubber band and conceal it. And you pull it through and it's attached. Once it's attached as well, you want to kind of pull it and you want to make it as tight to the hairband as possible, the black hairband. So right now I'm trying different angles, different ways to try to show you what it looks like when you're putting the crochet tool. So you see how I went in through the middle of the rubber band. I'm getting a thin section of hair. And I promise you guys, these tutorials will get better and better. I am filming all by myself, so I'm trying to make the best of it and trying to make sure you guys are able to see these steps up close. So you see I had to be careful. The orange tried to get in there with the blue. And so that's what you do. You wrap it around the hook. You close the latch and you pull it through. And in between each step, what I'm doing is just kind of going and smoothing out the hair. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, this hair product really has a tendency to tangle up on you if you're not careful. So I'm doing the same thing with the pink. I really wanted the glitter to show in this ponytail, so that's why I made some sections that were just pure hair tinsel, so that way that color and the sparkle would be dominant in those sections. So we're going in again with the rubber band. We're going to secure it firmly but not too tight so that the rubber band does not pop and so that the crochet tool can fit through the center. And we can do the steps to conceal the hairband. The more you practice it, the easier this gets. And also I had to improvise using my dresser as the work area. You just need something that's going to be able, do you see how it keeps falling off? You need something that's able to hold the ponytail on it and kind of stretch it out so that you can work efficiently on the ponytail and that you don't have your sections mixing up and making it difficult for you to add the individual hair pieces. So you see that is the thin, I would say the thinness level or the thickness level that you want for your black hair sections. You don't want it too fat or else it's going to be a lot more difficult for all of the glitter and all of the hair to kind of blend together. So I'm just going through and doing the same step for each section that I'm adding for the ponytail. So the pattern that I used was black glitter, black glitter, black glitter, black, there you go. So that there's black hair on either end. And that way, again, we're looking for a nice blend of the black synthetic hair and the hair tinsel. So we're onto the color blue. That's going to be the last glitter only section that we're going to be putting. And so these ponytails are very easy to create. It's just learning the steps and making sure that you're careful with the way that you're handling your hair and your tinsel. So remember, secure it firmly, not too tight, so that it doesn't pop, it doesn't snap. So whether you're making bubble braids or you're just trying to make yourself, you know, maybe just a regular loose ponytail or even a curly ponytail, because you can use textured hair, you can use pretty much anything when it comes to these ponytails, and you can custom create all kinds of hair extensions for yourself using this technique right here. It takes a hairband, your hair product, and your crochet tool. And you can make as many of these for any occasion, any theme. One of the things that I've done with these types of bubble braids, or even just the custom ponytails, is it's a lot of fun to attach hair charms. That's another way you can decorate this, and that will probably be another video down the line. We're just going through with the last color blue and securing it with the crochet tool. You'll just pay attention to how thin you make the wraparound section, because the thicker you make it, the more difficult it is and the more likely it is to tangle. There we go. So the first time I put it through, it kind of slipped. The tinsel didn't come through, so I had to do it another time. And there we go. Now we have it secured. And what I'm doing, it kind of went off camera, but I'm just taking the black ponytail and pulling it so that all the hair comes together at the bottom. And I have one last black section to attach. This one has a lot of tinsel in it. So the whole ponytail has a mix of the different hair tinsel colors. And then in combination with the individual, the pink, the orange, the blue. So no matter what, we have sparkle going all throughout the ponytail, which is going to look really, really nice when we move on to part 2 and actually start creating the bubble braids. And bubble braids are really perfect for this ponytail because the bubbles are going to kind of look like basketballs, which is, of course, this is all for the Spurs, and it's going to be very cute. So I'm just attaching the last black section. And don't worry, yes, the tinsel was longer than the ponytail hair. All I'm doing off camera is I'm taking those little scissors and just trimming the hair tinsel down to the length of the ponytail. And that's what I have left. I usually save that for, you know, miscellaneous things. You can always use it on maybe short hair, or I can give it to my daughter that she can add to her Barbies. But this is the finish of part 1 of attaching the hair. We have a nice mix of the black braiding hair and the hair tinsel. The idea to put the different individual color sections, I think it's going to look really nice. And I just wanted to show you the crochet tool up close so you can see the little hook and what I'm winding it around when I'm attaching the different sections of the hair. And that's what it's going to look like. The hair section, the real thin one that we use, that's what is wrapped around the rubber band so that it doesn't just look like clear plastic around your hair. And that's the end of part 1.